Hello, everybody. My name is. You are watching Political Vigilante, making Gotham great again. Because Gotham is a very, very evil, corrupt place. And the only person that can clean it up is the Dark Knight. So, we have been talking about Epstein for almost 3 years now. That first broke in July of 2019. And we have been covering the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. She was found guilty of sex trafficking, was not even allowed to be charged as a pedophile, even though numerous Epstein victims said she participated in the sexual assault. So she is a pedophile, and the media, and I'm going to show you again, will not call her a pedophile. They won't do it. It's unbelievable to me. But one of the things she was trying to do when after being found guilty is, and this tactic does two things. One, it delays sentencing. We still haven't gotten sentencing. But two, was trying to get a new trial. She was claiming that one of the jurors forgot to fill out on the form that he was a victim of sexual abuse, and so he was biased in the jury. Like, he needed to say that. And the judge just said no. Ghislaine Maxwell's bid for new trial denied, judge rules. Maxwell repeatedly requested a new trial after a juror on her case failed to disclose childhood sexual abuse during jury selection. And I'm not mad at her lawyer. This is what lawyers are paid to do. They're paid to fight for their client no matter what. I don't like Maxwell. She's a piece of, I don't know why you'd want to defend Maxwell. I think you're garbage for just taking the case. You're a garbage person. Everyone deserves a fair trial. She didn't. These girls that she raped and trafficked didn't get a chance for a fair trial. They were just snatched up. So I don't care about that. So this is what happened. First, we're going to go into this, what happened, what this juror, failed to do, and how the judge, and I'm a little shocked at this ruling. I'll be quite honest with you, in a good way. I thought they were going to use this as an excuse to give her a new trial and she's going to get freed. But I'm going to show you how, again, what the ruling elites, the pedophile ruling elites do is they always try to change the narrative a little bit. And I'm going to show you stuff they're going to try to say, her dad, Robert Maxwell, was mean. And so she's a victim. They're still trying to paint her in the media as a victim. She was caught up in Jeffrey Epstein's crazy schemes and she didn't know what to do. And her daddy was mean. That's why she's mean. Boo, 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 boo. Shut up, you rat-faced sex trafficking pedophile. Once again, too, no mugshots of Ghislaine Maxwell, just artist renderings. That's a fact. I have seen no mugshots of her at all. Am I saying this is fake? She's not, and she's free, or what? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we have seen no mugshots. So juror number 50, Scotty David, was questioned in court on March 8th about his omission. He told the judge, Allison Nathan, he had been distracted when quickly completing a screening questionnaire that asks, have you, and this is common in, like, I remember, I remember one time being on jury. I've done jury duty twice where I actually got called into the jury selection room. And one of them was like one car wash was suing another car wash. And they were asking have you ever owned a car wash or something like that? So they want to see if you have a conflict of interest. So this is a standard thing that happens. And this guy was then questioned by the judge, and Judge Allison Nathan says in her words that she believes this guy, that he just went through the questionnaire too quickly, but he didn't deliberately withhold. That's what the Maxwell attorneys were trying to say, that this guy deliberately withheld this so that then he could influence the jury to go for a guilty verdict. That's what they were trying to do. And this is the actual signed by Judge Allison Nathan. And I've shown you in the past, and I'll show you in a second, she's very suspect, Judge Allison Nathan. She's like part of the ruling elites, but this happened. So Ultimately, this is a good thing, but I'm so cautious. If you've watched, I have a whole Epstein playlist on YouTube. If you've been following this with me, you know that there's we just can't trust the ruling elites, right? So the court further concludes that Juror 50 harbored no bias towards the defendant and could serve as a fair and impartial juror. The requirements for a new trial under McDonough are not satisfied. The defendant's motion for a new trial pursuit, Rule 33, is therefore denied. And then it just goes into it. The court hereby excludes time under the speedy trial from today's date through April 22nd. With respect to counts 7th and 8th, the court finds that the ends of justice served by granting this exclusion from speedy trial computations outweigh the interests of the public and the defendant in speedy trial on these counts because the pending post-trial motions affect the scheduling considered and set forth. Okay, so the court will rule on the defendant's remaining post-verdict motions in due course. Sentencing remains scheduled for June 28th, 2022. So they're gonna try to come up with anything they can. Oh, something was jury tamper, whatever they're gonna try, and there's more that's gonna happen. So sentencing, I'm not sure why we need 6 months. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not sure why we need 6 months from found guilty to sentencing. She was found guilty like December 29th. So sentencing is June 28th. This day, be very aware of this day. First, if none of these things pass, like if Maxwell's lawyers don't get any of these other things to throw this out to get a new trial, they want to get a new trial before this sentencing. But when sentencing happens, we got to be very careful. We got to be paying close attention when sentencing happens. If she gets a big, thick, bad sentence, then she's going to hang herself in prison like Jean-Luc Brunel did. Again, the media is not talking about that either. Jean-Luc Brunel convicted the same time, December of 2020, right around the same time Maxwell was found guilty. He hung himself in prison. Weird, wacky. These billionaire pedophiles just have so much remorse. They hang themselves in prison. We're all supposed to believe that. No one in the media has been talking about that. That's just when swept under the rug. Put a couple stories out, never talk about it again. This day, if Maxwell gets a soft, like a slap on the wrist, 18 months in some country club prison or something like that, believe me, something crazy will happen right up to that. Will Smith will slap Chris Rock again or something. That'll just trust me on this. But let's just go back into, okay, so Judge Allison Nathan. So there's this was denied. These other things are still pending. And then we've got sentencing June 28th. You just got to follow this timeline here. This is from Judge Allison Nathan about Juror 50, Scott David. His tone, demeanor, and responsiveness gave no indication of false testimony. The court thus credits his testimony that he was distracted and he filled out the questionnaire and skimmed way too fast, leading him to misunderstand some questions. Okay. All sounds good to me. I still have questions because we brought this up before. Whitney Webb made us aware of this. She has a history of covering, this is Judge Allison Nathan, has a history of covering up for world elites. She's presiding over the Maxwell trial. She's a member of the Skull and Bones sister society, Quill and Dagger. Like, of course they've got a sister. Of course the ruling elites have that's like some secret society underneath the sorority and fraternity systems, of course. She was John Kerry's associate national counsel in 2004. She was a special assistant and White House counsel to Barack Obama from 2008 to 2010 and appointed to the federal bench by Obama. She was appointed to the appeals court this year by Joe Biden. So the ruling elites have been taking care of her because she's one of them. So when a ruling elite rules against one of these ruling elite sex trafficking pedophiles, I'm always like, and I've said this from day one, this Maxwell very much feels like a show trial because we know only 4 victims were allowed to stand trial. Maria Farmer was not. Her sister was, but and dozens of these women were like, how come only 4 of us were asked to speak, right? We saw that evidence was not allowed in. I showed you that way back in like November, December, when the case was happening. This judge threw that evidence out. So again, what is happening is all of that stuff that was seized at Epstein's compound in the Virgin Islands, at his penthouse in New York City. And they showed us the FBI agents with the jackets on wheeling out like literally hand trucks full of boxes and hard drives and all this stuff. Why aren't we seeing any of that? We have talked about that at none at all. No, we haven't seen any of that. The corporate media hasn't shown us any of that. So that's really what's at stake here. All of the people who are the most powerful people in the world, who are in all of that seized information, they don't want that getting out. So what I feel like, and what they learned from Epstein hanging himself with a paper t-shirt, nobody bought that. Everyone was talking about that 24/7. That's not what they want. They don't want too much attention. Epstein brought them too much attention, so they got rid of Epstein. Maria Farmer let us know Epstein was middle management. Okay, so I'm just bringing everybody up to speed here. Some of you haven't been following this whole time. So what is critical with this trial is to show, and this is what I believe, and we talked about this with Whitney Webb, that the point of this trial is to go, oh, we got her. Epstein's dead. Maxwell's in jail. No more billionaire sex trafficking happening. We got him. It's over. Because that's what they always are trying to do. Seal off everybody knowing that the world is run by billionaire pedophile sex traffickers. There's just too much evidence. So what we're not going to see, you don't think Prince Andrew is scrambling to make sure none of this evidence get out? You don't think Bill Clinton, that was on Epstein's plane 26 times, Hillary was on 2 times. Bill and Hillary were in Epstein's compound in New Mexico numerous times. They've been to his island. Trump, what else this trial revealed? Initially, Trump, like 2 years ago, we thought Trump had only been on Epstein's plane once, which you could say, oh, he just a billionaire gave a billionaire a ride. Okay. New flight logs came out during the Maxwell trial in last December, 118 pages of FAA flight logs showing Trump actually was on 4 more times, totaling 5. Now we're looking a little more guilty on Trump. So all these powerful people, Trump, who said, I wish her well. All these powerful people do not want this evidence. So they're like, give us a show trial, find her guilty, so we can say, with the bad guys, we got him. It's over. Epstein's dead. We got him. Okay? So pay attention. I think that's what they're going to do. Now, a lot can happen between now. There's 2 more attempts that they're going to have at trying to say, we want a new trial. They want to send this to appeals. Ghislaine Maxwell's siblings profoundly shocked by judge's rejection of retrial. Family says it's optimistic about chances on appeal after controversy over juror in first trial. This is in The Guardian. Okay. So, no. And I think the most critical thing of this trial is what I said, when all the evidence was deemed inadmissible. Judge Allison Nathan said, and we showed you that James Comey's daughter was the prosecutor in the Maxwell trial. And she just went, oh, this is an unfortunate setback. An unfortunate setback that the most damning evidence showing the most powerful people in the world being pedophiles and sex traffickers just won't see the light of day. That's a setback? Okay. That's a setback. That is the key here. That's why no one's talking about this. That's why all we're talking about is Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. That's why all we're talking about, and not that Ukraine is very serious what's going on there, but that's all we're talking about. And we're talking about Ukraine, obviously, just from the view of America and NATO. We're not giving any other points of view, and America is censoring just shutting down RT and everything like that. But I'm not here to talk about Ukraine. I'm just saying there's always a distraction happening so that we're not all asking the question, where are these people that are in this? Why isn't Prince Andrew charged? Why isn't Alan Dershowitz charged? Why isn't Les Wexner, who created Victoria's Secret? And we know through all the videos and all the research we've done, the Miami Herald has backed us up, that the fashion industry very guilty. So I'm just showing you overall how they're just. And now the BBC put out this House of Maxwell. So now there was the Jeffrey Epstein documentary that came out on Netflix like a year ago. And that documentary, I'm glad it gave, some of the victims a voice, but the victims would say stuff and then the filmmakers would just cut to something else. They wouldn't address this like very damning information. These victims like, no, there was this rich guy and that rich guy and this powerful person, that politician. And then that documentary also kind of tried to frame it like, oh, the Clintons we didn't know he was bad. They're trying to play that game, which is what Hillary also played that in an interview about Harvey Weinstein. Well, we didn't know about bullshit. So now what's happening? This House of Maxwell just came out. I haven't seen it, but this is the initial review. 3 out of 4 stars. House of Maxwell, there is only one moment where Robert resembles a human being. So Robert Maxwell's the bad guy. This confidently told documentary on Robert and Ghislaine Maxwell's relationship feels like an HBO drama Succession at times, but far, far grislier. And you read this review, and again, I haven't seen it yet. It's very much like it's again just trying to shift it. She was in it. She had a mean dad. That's look, she's not perfect, but her dad was the real culprit. And Jeffrey Epstein, her boyfriend, he tricked her. No, she's awful, just like all of them. Plenty of people have had bad childhoods and abusive parents, and they didn't become pedophile, sex trafficking monsters. Yeah. So just how we're going to frame this, she's the victim. Bullshit. Listen to the interviews of her victims who said she was worse. She treated them like trash. All of the girls said this. Ghislaine treated them like trash. She was the worst. She was even worse than Epstein. But I'm curious to see what this trial is going to do. This was in Newsweek. Again, this is the corporate media. So this is how the corporate media is covering it. But what I'm saying is there's online articles, but there isn't this, like, they're not just talking about it all the time on the TV. They'll just be like, Maxwell's bid for a new trial denied. And then weather today, like they just move through it quickly so they can say, we covered it, but they're moving through it very quickly. Ghislaine Maxwell's sentencing could give Prince Andrew accuser new platform. This just came out April 4th. I hope that's true. So we're going to keep following this, everybody, because we cannot forget. There's so many photos with Trump and Epstein and Maxwell. Epstein and Maxwell are also invited to Bill Clinton's White House in the 90s. Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. There she is. There's former President Bill Clinton. This happened in 2011. This was 2 years after Maxwell settled out of court. So we're supposed to believe that they didn't know when a current Secretary of State in 2011, Hillary Clinton was sitting Secretary of State, and a former president had a wedding, and there was no background checks on anybody. Secret Service just like, bring whoever. She's a +1. These are the ruling elites. There's Bill Gates. I've shown you this before. All these, are there videos of these people? I don't know. And we're probably never going to know, because that's what it is at the core of this. They want all of that evidence suppressed, deleted, gotten rid of. There's Ghislaine Maxwell with Virginia Roberts when she was a child with Prince Andrew, who gave an interview where he denied that this photo was even taken. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. We're going to keep paying attention to this. I told you 2 years ago, 3 years ago now almost, I'm not giving this up. I'm not giving this up. And I just want to show you this. I put this on my TikTok yesterday. It's already got 48,000 views. I want to show you this real quick. Go to @GrahamElwood is my TikTok. I just did this. I just thought of this. I was on a hike over the weekend and I thought of this. You ever go out on a hike or just out in nature when you're all alone and all you just hear is the birds and the animals, and you think to yourself, Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of being a sex trafficker, and while she's also a pedophile, the media never even refers to her as one. And you sit there and go, wow, the most powerful people in the world are all tied to Epstein. Like Trump was on Epstein's plane 5 times, Bill Clinton was on 26 times, Hillary was on 2 times, Bill and Hillary were at Epstein's compound in New Mexico twice, Chelsea Clinton had Ghislaine Maxwell at her wedding, numerous women were trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago that's run by Trump. Yeah, a beautiful planet that's run by sex trafficking pedophile billionaires. Have a great day. I just thought of that on a hike and decided to make it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Shave your knuckles for justice. That's how we're going to make Gotham great again. Boom. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.